We're going to be back in 3 hours, but you guys are too young to remember that television show. That was Gilligan's Island.
Taking
They
a
went
boat
out for a
ride.
3-hour tour and ended up getting stuck on an island for the rest
Vamos
of
a
their
ir en un ride, en un bote de hora y media.
Alright, official welcome to Big Bear Lake. So our lake is a man-made lake. We just closed up the other end of the valley, saved up rain and snow. So that's why we're way under our lake levels. We haven't had enough rain or snow to fill us back up. We don't have any other source. So we're 18 feet at this point in the season, under normal lake levels. As we go along, you'll see people that spent millions of dollars to have that lakefront property now have a backyard to deal with. We had to pull the marina out here at the beginning of the season just to have water to work with. And at this point, that's why we're pulling boats out.
How long has the water been receding like that?
I've been here 12 years. I think it's been about 8 years I can remember it being full. So it's kind of gone up and down, give and take 9 feet or so, but it's been consistently just drying out for the past 2 or 3 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you look lengthwise down the center of the lake, average depth is 35 feet. So it's not a deep lake to begin with. Our deepest is only 75 feet. But we're so high up, we get kind of bypassed by all this storm system. So we haven't had a good rainstorm to fill us up. Doesn't take much. So we're having water temperature right now is about 58, maybe 55 degrees. It dropped off quite a bit, but our highest during the technically my boat is a tri-tube. There's 3 steel tubes underneath us that keep us afloat. The Reynolds over there do 2 pontoons underneath them. The pontoon was invented in 1952 by a farmer in Minnesota. Took his front porch apart, welded it to steel tubes, and that's how we got our pontoon boat. So they're not really meant for speed. Sometimes they're called a party boat, or in my case, a tour boat. I thought I'd show you my fastest I could go. So put on your seatbelts. Here we go. Oh wait, there's no seatbelt. All right, get ready. Feel the breeze. Whoa. All right, there we go. We are at 10 miles per hour. We do have to stock our lake with adult fish. We have the common carp, and it'll eat up all the other fish. So we have to have some way for them to fend for themselves. So we recently stocked the lake with rainbow trout. We also have wide-mouth bass, black crappie, bluegill, and catfish. To come back to it, but Oktoberfest is fun. Lots of good food and beer and bands playing and lots of contests and stuff. Yep, super fun. And right around Thanksgiving, we'll get our first snowfall, and that pulls us into winter. Everybody at the marina now has mountain grades. They've all pulled out their snowboards and skis, so we're anticipating our first snowfall. The Big Bear will average about 6 feet of snow per winter. It's not enough to maintain lake levels, but we do have some good powder steam when we do get a good storm. So it does make that question, does the lake freeze over in the wintertime? It doesn't freeze all the way over to the Hookah Match one, but it freezes around the edges. So we have to pull everything out by December 1st so you don't ruin your boats or your docks. So as you pass by our parking lot, you saw all their boats there and take off. Now they've got a big backyard, and all summer they had to push those docking pieces out quite far. So that's all of them kind of bailed out, and now these are all better. And last summer, a lot of these on Airbnb were going for about $5,000 a night. So when you're in a small town, people do love to gossip. And right now we love gossiping about people's houses. And let's straight here, you'll see a big giant house with a lot of little red trees in front of it. It's one of our biggest houses here on the lake. It's about 10,000 square foot house. It's not a hotel, it's a single family house. What would happen is they would buy a house that went for sale around them, they'd knock it down and keep adding on to that house. So that went on for years. That's why we had to start talking about it, because it sits empty. No one's ever there. You see the gardener there to make it look pretty, and the window washers, but nobody rents it or lives there. So as I was talking about this story early on in the spring here, I had a group of girls start laughing. They made millions of dollars and bought a house and never used it. So they verified the answer. It's the bubble wrap guy. He didn't invent it, he manufactured it. But the house was a project with him and his wife. When she passed away, he lost interest in it, so there it sits. It's got bowling alleys, elevators, kitchens, maids' quarters, all kinds of stuff. It just sits there empty. There are quite a few houses here in Big Bear that do that. People bought them as second or third homes and never used them.
Wow, that's
And that is a pirate ship. Straight ahead about 1 o'clock. See a pirate ship.
Oh, yeah.
The pirate ship comes out of Holloway. It actually came off of Navy Duty and time down in the 80s. And this project was kind of turned it into a tour bus ride up here at Big Bear Lake. There's pirates on our lake. This is our windiest point. We come around this corner. Once we get out of it, it'll calm down again.
That's a pirate ship. Un bote de pirata. Ya no van a robar, van a asaltar.
A marshy bottom, lots of pine trees, and hundreds of grizzly bears lived up here. In 1842, a man named Ben Wilson, he would actually later become our first mayor of Los Angeles, he was commissioned to chase after a guy that was pillaging the ranches down in Riverside. So they chased the guy up here. They never found the guy, and they camped out here on this point to Yosemite and brought 6 black bear down into Southern California. And 2 of them made it up to Big Bear. And that's what populated the woods back there. They're a little active in the fall. They're trying to gear up for winter. And we have some pretty happy bears up here. You're not as tasty as what we put in the dumpster. So most of the bears just go today for their food in the trash can. We also have coyotes, deer, buffaloes, bobcats, eagles, pelican, ranches, fishing camps, and logging industry. So he saw Big Bear as something different, and he built our first hotel in 1888. And that started tourists coming up here to Big Bear, primarily only in the summer. We didn't raise the winters until about 1921. We had 600 people want to stay here and see what happens. When they made it out okay, we started becoming a 4-season resort. And then skiing came up here in 1924. And that's what started the whole 4-season run.
trails.
Logging industry was started back in 1845, and it was centered down in Running Spring. That's about halfway up the San Bernardino mountain range here. It was too expensive to do it from Big Bear. You had to load your logs up on a horse and buggy, and hope it made it down the treacherous mountain road. So they decided to chop the trees and left them right there. When they came back in the spring, problem solved. They had 9,000 floating trees, and they pushed them over the edges and built the sawmills along the shoreline. We never really exported the lumber as we became more popular up here. They used that wood to build the hotels, the fishing camps, and houses. Logging industry got so bad under Nick, but we do have him to thank for a beautiful forest area. You can see this Bridget some dinner. There you go.
Adult beverage.
Grocery shop. Get your pharmacy stuff, your auto mechanic. John Fisher had bought up that area and Hideout Lodge. In 1917, Hideout Lodge caught on fire. They did not have a fire department, so the gas had to run out of the hotel room and grab buckets of water to put the fire out. So we decided we needed a fire department. Just at a time it was volunteer. We had one fire truck.
Oh, you know this?
Big Bear Lake. This is where it's at. Estamos en el lago de Big Bear.
There you go on the wire and you go across high. It's just really. I think they had up to like.
It's from here, Oregon. Beautiful houses, millions of
This
dollars.
brown house right here to the left of the corner, it looks like it's falling apart. This is Big Bear's famous zebra road. It actually used to be painted like a zebra. This one was built around Prohibition, around 1918, when alcohol was illegal. So allegedly it was a brothel and a casino. At that time it was a single story, and it was only accessible by lake. So they had a series of lookouts that would go up and down the mountain and signal when the feds were going to come up and bust them. So they saw the feds coming, they panicked and threw everything into the lake and took off. So I did a little more research and found a lot of places up in Big Bear were illegal casinos and speakeasies all the way up into the 40s. A lot of those soldiers coming back from World War II would come up to Big Bear, let loose a bit. So the zebra room in the 1940s changed into a hot night spot. They added that second floor on fire. So of course they rang that loud siren and called in the fire department. Only this time they came out of the local bar, jumped into the one and only fire truck, and instead of backing it up for water, they drove the truck straight into the lake and sank it. Needless to say, the hotel burned down, part of the zebra room is
Want some?
Boulder Bay Park.
What?
Through most of the summer, there was enough water
The Minnesota Twins.
on the other side of those boulders to get to the bank, so it's a great swim spot. We lost all the water, so now people just climb the rocks. But it's a lovely park. It's a nice little walking path and a picnic area. Want to go check out Boulder Bay? These boulders, these formations are only at this end of the lake on this side, so it makes it very unique here at Boulder Bay. They even built houses right into the boulders over there. Blue awning in front? Yeah. So you look kind of behind it, look all the way up to the top of the ridge line to the right of it, and you'll see a big rock formation at the very top of the mountain.
Yeah.
That's our most popular hike here. That's Castle Rock Hike.
Oh,
So if you did come in the front way, you may have seen cars parked along the highway. That's what they're going to do. So Castle Rock's about a 3.5-mile round trip. You do a switchback, kind of a zigzag all the way to the top. If you're brave enough to grab the rope and go to the top of the rocks, you can stand up there and wave to everybody. But it does have some pretty amazing views. So if you like to hike, I definitely recommend the Castle Rock. It's considered intermediate just because it does get pretty narrow as you go up there.
Barely doing it. I want to do hikes like that, but man, when that guy fell in the water, it was so cold that weekend. Like the wind was way worse than this. No, he just tipped over. The chair didn't even break. You'd be nervous to live in places like that with like just windows like glass open. Everybody can watch you.
Ain't nobody out there.
Totem pole.
That have left in the U.S. 5,000 of those are here in California, and at this end of Big Bear Lake, we have 450 of them. The ones in this section on this side of the lake, they're part of a different association, so they want them looking pretty rustic. There's a scary road going down in there, so they're only owners only back in here. You won't find any rentals. So basically, they have to be out by November 1st. A lot of them have already started boarding up their cabins for the winter. They come back to me in the house. What you do from the family, so they inherit the house and the bank. If you buy one, you just go to the regular mailer and you have to pay cash for it. When they were first built, they went for about $15 for that 20-year permit. Here in Big Bear, you're looking at $200,000 to $300,000 for that 20-year permit. Fly fishing.
Everyone's supporting the fishing guy. You can look at the lines on the rocks and see different water levels throughout the years. What it looks like to Glacier Lake. The white line is last year's water mark. Hasn't faded out how much we lost just in a year. This yellow house here on this island isn't part of the Forest Service house. It's actually a private residence. This one was built in the early 1900s by the Garston family. It started out as their favorite picnic spot when the first lake was put in. When they informed them in 1911 they wanted to make a bigger lake, this was going to become an island. So they petitioned to have their dream pub built here. So each room is or each building is a separate room in the house. So you kind of walk down some trails to find the kitchen. And the gossip in town was it was completely sent in from China, but that's not true. She was traveling a lot to a lot of different places, so she used all her travels to create her own dream home. But its nickname is China Island. In the 1940s, it was an illegal casino for a while, so it was briefly called Treasure Island. Now it's back to China Island. It changed hands over the years. The family that bought it 2 years had accidents came in. I've seen the older pictures. They do a lot of work. climb to the top and jump in. Now that we don't have water, they couldn't jump in this summer. They walked on the rocks and sunbathed a bit.
That's so cool.
That's the unique part of these boulders. They never move.
Tiffany.
So we're at the deepest end of the lake. We're at 75 feet underneath us and the most narrow point of the valley. So you can see where they can just close it off, save up some water. It drops really fast down the other side, and it has a natural path straight into Redlands. So they can irrigate the citrus groves down there. You go across, and it only held about a third of the size of the lake back. So the archways we can see is the one built in 1911. That was demanded on by the gold miners of the area. They needed more water at the other end of town, so that's how they got a bigger lake. The bridge came in 1924. It was single lane. In the 2000s, they widened that whole thing out to accommodate all of our guests coming down.
Walk down.
Forest Service houses on this side are part of a different association. So they, a little bit
Wait, what you say? It came out funny.
Yeah.
The boat.
buy a whole bunch of new jet skis. So if we're sold out next summer on jet skis, this would be my second choice for shore landing.
That'd be scary to fall in. No, because I'm scared of deep water.
¿Qué va a pasar? You just went.
I know.
First bus.
Metal monsters were allowed up here in Big Bear in 1908. We commonly call those cars. When they first came out, people were really afraid of them, especially if it was just the boat itself. So it's done for the season. So we won't see the fleet till next summer. We'll fix it back up.
R2D2.
1 and 2. Insider, Magnolia, and Grey's Anatomy.
I just started watching
Your
the
nurse show?
hospital show, yeah.
I know what it is. I would watch it.
So now go back and look at that scene. If you go on IMDb and say Big Bear Lake, they'll put up all the scenes that were done here. So then you can just kind of do a fast track. Just because you asked me, I'm staying out for another hour. I am sad. I don't want to leave the lake. We are going for another hour.
So did the storm get pretty bad out here?
The one on Monday and all the fun stuff back there, and just spend days back in there. So it's kind of
I
fun.
could do over here.
Okay. Anytime. They're open anytime. I don't think they close. I don't think they close for winter. I've seen people go back there. People tried to avoid traffic and got stuck back there. But yeah, they've gone back there with all kinds of stuff. So yeah, if you want to come back in 4x4, that's the place to go. There's a tour of the Jeep experience when you head toward Vaughn. You'll see they have a big advertisement. They have all their Jeeps sitting out.
A little bit.
You're just gonna make her colder. Not to like you for a while. Okay, thank you. DUI, yeah. Boating. I'm in a boat wide open. Yeah. They can't do a field sobriety, but they just Now, a lot of the guests, like the 4th of July weekend, the big DUI weekend, they just drink and drive all they want, and then the lake patrol comes right on out and gives them a DUI, and then they have to get somebody driving the boat in or get it towed back in so they can get it. Yeah, just like a DUI on the
There's
road.
a lot of them on the boat. Still.
So we made it back to R2D2. The telescope's all done for the day. It was out earlier. So it's a solar observatory. It's one of
Solar
six in the world
observatory.
that use the Gong technology. It's run by the New Jersey Institute of Technology. It's actually started by USC in 1969. Now New Jersey runs it. So there's 3 telescopes, one in the main one in the one behind it, and at the other end of the Jenny in the square building is the 3rd one. It only does solar activity. It doesn't do any planets or asteroids or any UFOs that same thing at the same time every day. I think it did get some pretty decent pictures before the storm came in on Monday. We had that solar flare, so they were all over that, I'm sure. But the Gong telescope requires to be placed high in the altitude, surrounded by water, and in a certain wind pattern. The wind will take the air particles out. The water surrounding the telescope takes out the heat waves, and being 7,000 feet above LA smog, you get a nice clear picture of what goes on our sun. The other ones are in Hawaii, China, Germany, Spain, and Russia. They used to let you in to check out the telescope, but COVID shut it down. You can do a virtual tour if you want. But it does make a nice landmark. We tell our guests to look for R2D2 and then find their way back to the marina. From here, I'm going to go across the lake. It's closed for the season, but in the summertime, it's open for boaters.
Zoom out. And I think I
If you really wanted to swim through it, you could. I've seen people try. Yeah. No, the boaters use it. It's funny trying to watch a park.
We got some good pictures, dude.
They'll get a trailer and pull it out.
with the background. Yeah, that one's bigger. That one I did go with her because the first one I didn't. I was like, you know what? Let's speed up.
You still went slow the second one. Nah, you can go slow.
So kayak
I would not do kayak.
is scary.
I'm scared. Freaking fall. Well, we got to the end of this ride. It costs $27 a person and it's an hour and a half ride. Llegamos al final, es 1 hora y media y cuesta $27 por persona. Se siente que se acabó todo. ¡Yay!
I know we're cold, but it always is beautiful out of the lake. So
So we're down 10-4, we're gone.